Welcome to your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 17th of October, 2015. The moon today is making its way through the middle portion of the sign of Sagittarius as it transits through Jyeshtha nakshatra. Today, you know what you need to do, but the question is whether you're actually going to do it or not. You see, the problem is that your actions have led you to, well, a certain degree of success lately. And due to that certain degree of success, well, you'd like to see more success with the effort that you're putting out. And you're beginning to feel that you're putting more effort out than you're getting return. And because you've had a large degree of success, well, now you're beginning to get puffed up with pride. And because things aren't beginning to go your way, well, you're thinking of taking some rather drastic measures in response to a particular situation. But your insight is kind of trying to guide you to not really go the route of exerting strength of will, going out full force, and following the reasoning of your intellect. Instead, what you need to do is you need to listen to your intuition. You also need to understand right perception. What do I mean by that? Well, one part of you is seeing things one way. Another part of you is seeing things another. The one way which is helpful is the way that your intuition is telling you. It's the one that's saying, well, you need to kind of restrain yourself from some of your actions. You need to be a little more disciplined in what you're doing rather than just going at things all willy-nilly or going with that first impulse that you're thinking. Instead, you need to act with consideration, not from the intellect, but from the heart, from your intuition, where you know what you need to do and you know the steps that you need to take, right? When you're following your heart, you're following your ethics. When you're listening to what your intuition is telling you, well, you're following your higher senses. When you're going with your intellect, well, you can reason yourself into what you should do, could do, what you shouldn't do, and what you can't do. But none of those things is ultimately going to lead you in the direction that you need to go. What you need to do at the moment is to allow the level of the insight that you have and also the little hunch that's telling you that, well, maybe you should follow a different path. You need to allow those to become bigger than your sense of pride is. Let your pride diminish. If we listen with humility, even if it's something that we don't want to do, ultimately we gain the right perspective on something and a deeper level of understanding. And then it's up to us as to whether we're actually going to have the strength of will to put an impulse to one side and instead take the steps that we know that we should take. Now, Jyeshtha is an artha-driven nakshatra. And the idea with Jyeshtha, because it's associated with Indra, who is the king of the gods, is that of practicing restraint, knowing when we need to be a little more firm with ourselves and a little more disciplined in our approach. There are all sorts of stories in terms of Indra and how he became the king of the gods. He did severe penance in order to gain that position, but he also fell from that position several times, mainly usually because of his pride at being the king of the gods. So the idea here is that if you allow your pride to become so big, well, you're not going to listen, because you're going to think that you know everything. But if you recognize that, well, you actually know very little and you stand to learn very much, then you can gain much more. The lunar tithi today is Shukla Panchami. It's the 5th day of the bright half of the moon. And with this particular energy, there's a part of you that's unsatisfied. And the dissatisfaction is something that's drawing you in. And it's pulling you in a direction that's going to strive to, well, have its desires fulfilled. But that's ultimately not going to lead you in the appropriate direction. The solar lunar yoga today is Shobhana. The idea here is one of being confident, one of knowing that one is taking the right action. There's confidence, and then there's false confidence. The false confidence is when you're becoming puffed up with pride, puffed up with ego. That's only going to steer you wrong. Instead, listen with humility, know what you should do, and take the appropriate steps. If you could use a little bit of assistance with this process, I do offer several different tiers of astrological service, all of which are available through my astrological services page. If you see the little eye in the upper right-hand corner of the video, if you click on that, it will bring up a card. And if you click on that card, that will direct you to my astrological services page. That's going to do it for your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 17th of October, 2015. Until next time, please take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.